Hello. It's been an electric week in football as from North London to Milan, the Champions League returned with a bang. The English papers have been drooling over Arsenal and getting worked up over that big butt on Jordan. Not for the first time, hey Daily Star readers. But what did the Continentals make of it all? Well, let's start with Wednesday's classic at the Emirates. The Gunners roaring back from a goal down to defeat the best team in the world, and says L'Equipe of France, it was incroyable, the game. Everything is in place for a phenomenal return match at Camp Nou. Put the 8th of March in your diary. This one will be unmissable. Well, praise too for the Gunners from Italy. Gazzetta dello Sport here. Arsenal are more than up to the job. Jack Wilshere has come of age. In Catalonia, though, home of Barcelona, the feeling was that for all the praise that Arsenal deserved, it was actually both the referee and Barca themselves who let them back into the match, with a performance that started sumptuous but turned presumptuous. Let's have a look. El Mundo Deportivo. Pardoned. Referee and Barca let Arsenal back into game, says the paper. The match official was somewhat one-sided, but Barcelona left the football to one side and started snoozing, taking themselves an early siesta. Who wrote this? Richard Hammond. Victor Valdez was left holding the door open for the Gunners like a confused gentleman. Well, agrees Sport, with a rather comforting headline, will turn it around at the Camp Nou. This Barcelona team sometimes gives the impression of expecting their coffee to be always paid for them, i.e. expecting a free pass. Well, to run with their coffee metaphor, they'll certainly have to earn this cup back at their own ground, where you can expect plenty of olés. Otherwise, there'll be no end of mockers, of course. Now, while the Catalan press were distracted with all that business at the Emirates, incidentally, they rather missed out on the week's most important story. Luckily, here it is in Marca, alongside a mention of Cesk's Arsenal breaking Barcelona. Here they have Adebayor's new boot. It is a size 47, and that, says Marca, is the biggest in the history of Real Madrid. About the same dimensions of a banjo, coincidentally enough. Well, on to Tuesday's big showdown at the San Siro. Tottenham up against 7 times winners Milan, and of course Spurs didn't choke, despite the best efforts of Rino Gattuso. Crouch, that hurt, the rather eloquent headline on the Gazzetta after the 1-0, a game that underlined the similarity between Milan and their owner Silvio Berlusconi. They're both Italian leaders on the slide and both like grappling with people well outside their own age range. Unlike Silvio, though, Milan's problems look anything but minor. As terrorised by Tottenham in the first half, they then got taken apart by a classic Italian-style contropiede breakaway move in the second. And they now need to attack with everything they have in London, knowing, as the Gazzetta puts it, that if they lose the ball there, that demon Gareth Bale will bring it straight back at them. Says Repubblica, meantime, it's a slap in the face. And with Roma also beaten this week in the Champions League, 3-2 at home to a Shakhtar team that hadn't played a competitive match in over 2 months, it's exposed, says the paper, the limitations of the Italian game. What are they? Well, principally speed. We play at walking pace, the others run, control space, bend the very time of matches to suit their ends. Good Lord. Well, adds the paper, Milan make more money than Spurs, and same goes for Roma and Shakhtar, so it's not about the finances. Well, that's all well and good, but what, you'll be wanting to know, about Gattuso and his astonishing assault on the 60-year-old Joe Jordan? Well, the papers agree that it is incomprehensible. He is quite simply not that sort of player. Says the Gazzetta, the morning after, Jordan may have lost his teeth playing, but Rino has lost his head, and that's inexcusable, especially because it was with a Milan veteran. And a lovely column in Thursday's paper entitled Ask Me Who Was Lo Squalo Jordan, the Shark, which eulogises Joe's Milan career and finishes off with the suggestion that many young Milan fans in front of the TV would have been asking, Papaya, why is Rino grabbing the throat of a Milanista legend like that? Well, presumably because he couldn't reach Peter Crouch's. A few other reactions around Europe. Well, there you go. There's Bild with Gattuso is the madman of Milan. And Marca, interesting reaction. They were so outraged they ran a picture of Rino grabbing Jordan by the throat as their caption competition. Winning entries included, it hurts here, so have some hot lemon. Don't turn around, I think someone's watching us. How much do you charge? And you're coming with me to the dentist. Truly, no laughing matter. Well, moving on, you have to feel that Joe possibly got off lightly when you look at our final story this week, which comes again from Germany's Bild, and it is this. He stuck his nasty tongue in my mouth. This is the extraordinary showdown in the sex scandal currently involving former German referees observer Manfred Ammerl, 63 years of age, and the ex-referee Michael Kempter, 28 years of age, who claims that the senior official forced his kisses on him at a refereeing course back in 2001. Ammerl argues that it was all by mutual agreement in an elevator, like in that Aerosmith song. Well, Kempter's lawyer argues he's kissed so many referees he can't even remember. The judge's ruling expected soon. In the meantime, all gives a new meaning to the phrase whistleblowers. On that note, we come to the end of this week's paper review. I'll be away next Friday. Barry Glendenning will be here, so make sure you don't join him for that. And I'll be back in 2 weeks' time and look forward to seeing you then.